Welcome back to the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast presented by Donahue Accounting Services. For friendly expert tax advice whenever you need it, come to Donahue Accounting Services. A leading accounting firm in Cincinnati, Ohio. Our top-notch accountants strive to help you resolve all your financial and tax issues. Call Donahue Accounting Services today for a free consultation at 513-528-3982 or visit online at donahueaccountingservice.com. I'm your host, Alex Meacham, former Bearcat basketball player from 1997 to 1999 under the Hall of Fame coach, Bob Huggins.
And I'm Neil Meyer with the Front Office News.
I'm JT Smith, editor-in-chief of the Front Office News.
All right, fellas, we're back for another episode. Let's jump right into it. Now, since our last podcast, the Bearcats lost to Villanova 60-68 and beat Howard 84-67. JT, thoughts on the Bearcats' performances?
Performances, okay, so we'll say it showed grit against, Villanova. I think, shots weren't falling, especially early first half. I feel like, they had chances and just couldn't capitalize. Got not the first road game, the third road game, but it was one in a tough environment, something that's going to help them in the Big 12. So, they're not going to – it's one you would love for them to win, but at the end of the day, hey, it's not going to lose their season. So, that's something that's going to help them get better. And then, they started off a little flat against Howard, but that second half, I thought they turned it on, which was good. Got back on the winning side of things, and, now they're on to Xavier.
Neil?
Yeah, overall, the Villanova game was kind of one of those interesting games, obviously being the quote-unquote, essentially it was the first road game for Cincinnati outside of the NKU game. Because when you think about how the road games have went this season, NKU was only 15 minutes away. Georgia Tech, you go down to Atlanta, and it's essentially all Bearcats fans in there, and maybe what felt like only 4,000 people were in attendance down there, with the majority of them being Bearcats fans. And then you get an environment on the road versus Villanova. It was a tough environment. Everybody knows that Villanova wins essentially, or has won essentially nearly 80% of their games played in that venue. So overall, they came away with the win over the Bearcats, 68-60. But it was a game where Cincinnati had opportunities to kind of put this one closer in. Well, I wouldn't say closer, but in reach of maybe coming back and making an effort. Just shots weren't falling there, especially in the second half. But then versus Howard, you look up. I thought they bounced back well in the second half. First half was a little sluggish at times, but the big thing to take away from the Howard game is Dan Skillings returns to the floor for the first time since undergoing that knee injury. So overall, to have Dan Skillings back, it was the difference maker versus Howard, and I think everybody saw that as well, and what he was able to do, especially considering what the injury was and all the extent behind it. But to see him come back as quickly as he did and now be ready for Xavier, it was a pretty incredible sight to see, to say the least.
And I was thinking coming into that game, I think it's important for Dan to get some reps, especially against Howard, because obviously he's going to play versus Xavier. And I think, the scuttlebutt was he was going to be back for Xavier. So it's good for him to get reps. And JT, I don't know how you felt, but I think you could feel, obviously the crowd was energized when he came in. But I feel like even his teammates were energized that Skillings is back.
No, for sure. No, the crowd loved it. He was energized, but like his teammates just were happy to see him, battle back from his injury. And it showed, at the end of the day, they got one of their guys back. And I know they all have to feel good. I know Wes has to feel great that, that he's back. So, he said it was going to be, a week-to-week thing after 2 weeks and, end up being about a month, which is not bad at all, especially for a knee injury. So it must have definitely been minor because he's out there, and I'm pretty sure against Xavier he's going to be a major factor.
Now, speaking of that, this Saturday, 2 p.m., the Bearcats take on Xavier University at Fifth Third Arena in the Skyline Chili Crosstown Shootout. You're listening to the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast presented by Donahue Accounting Services. Let's jump into the Big O segment, sponsored by Smart Dog Solutions. Now, in this segment, we cover players to watch and key matchups. JT, who are you looking forward to watching in this game from the Bearcats that you think could have a big impact on the game?
All right, so I'm going to go – I've been thinking about this like all week. So I'm gonna go.
I'll write this down too, JT. See
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
right.
Man, it's so many players that can make the impact. Okay, but what I want to see is Aziz Bandago affect a lot of shots, and I need him to get 7 to 10 rebounds against Xavier. I feel like he's going to be the most athletic guy besides his other teammates out there. He has to take advantage of that. The oop, I want to see how they defend the alley oop, because I think the Bearcats are going to get downhill, and he's going to finish. He's been finishing at a way better rate this year. So, whatever points he gives, great. But I want to see him affect a lot of shots, and I want to see his effort lead to rebounds, where he has to have at least 7 rebounds, on Saturday. I want to say 2 to 3 blocks.
I was not prepared for you to say Aziz, but I like what you presented. We had during that Howard game, we had quite a few lobs that we connected on, right?
Yeah.
I think 8 of them in the second half.
Yeah.
8 or so in the second half. I mean, the first 4 possessions of the second half of the Howard game were lobs.
Hey, Neil, I'm going to ask you to do some homework for us. Can you get, if you can find these stats, get the lob count from last year and this year so far? Will you do that? Like, how many lobs did they connect on versus how many they just missed, discombobulated? Because this sure felt like it was a lot.
Man.
Am I right, JT?
Oh, for sure. It was like almost where you wanted them to stop doing it. Like, it was a point like, man, just stop. Please.
I almost felt like they got so comfortable with, a guy like Aziz, who's, I mean, how tall is he, Neil?
Well, they have 7'1".
So you feel like, okay, he's athletic, he's long, just throw it up. He's gonna go get it. And sometimes they were throwing him. I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah. It's like man, he can't get
nobody catching that.
I'm like, nobody was catching that. Vince Carter in his prime wasn't catching some of those. No. I'm like, some of them were like, the timing was rough. It was bad for a second.
Timing, yeah, good point there. The timing on them, some of them were completely off.
Yeah, some of the time, because if you make a mistake on those, the timing's bad. Unless you throwing it in a certain area. Like some of them, they were throwing it. It was bad timing, and they were throwing them throwing them joints like at the top of the backboard.
Man, I was like, what is going on? So Neil, that's your job. You're to get those stats for us, okay?
Yes, sir.
Let's keep that stat going. Now, I have not had a chance, me being a basketball guy, like I enjoy watching basketball. I've not seen Xavier play this year at all, like not 1 second. So Neil, I'm actually fascinated to hear your breakdown of players to watch from Xavier.
Yeah, so overall, it's going to be an interesting matchup, to say the least. Obviously, everybody knows the anticipation in the lead up to this game. But it's worth noting, too, JT's going to go with his player to watch for this game, being Aziz. I'm going to go with Dylan Mitchell for Cincinnati on my end. And the reason is he's played in a lot of big games before, being in the Big 12. But I think this is a game where Dylan Mitchell could really take over and alter things. Sean Miller gave him a lot of praise today, talking about how he could really alter the game with his high motor and affect the game on the glass. Said he's never seen a guy his size with his athleticism that is able to go out there and jump and play above the rim and really kind of alter this game. He thinks this is a guy who could really come in and alter the game in a positive way for Cincinnati. So overall, Dylan Mitchell is going to be my player to watch for Cincinnati. But for Xavier, I mean, it's going to start. This is the 2 guys that are veteran players for Xavier that have played in this matchup more than once. It's a transfer portal heavy Xavier squad this year. Obviously, you lose a lot of guys last season, but this is a Xavier squad that only 3 of these guys have played in the Crosstown Shootout more than 2 times. That's Zach Freemantle, Jerome Hunter, and then you also have the likes of Dalen Swain, who played a few years ago, who is now in his second. But outside of that, there is nobody else on this roster who has played in the Crosstown Shootout more than 1 time. So overall, those are your 3 that you're going to be spearheaded for with Xavier. But I think it starts with Zach Freemantle in the paint. I think everybody knows the physical and the kind of player that Freemantle is. I know he's been around since 2017, it feels like, but overall, he's the difference maker for Xavier. If he can stay healthy this season, this Xavier team could make a run. And I mean, you look down, he's leading the team in scoring, averaging nearly 17 points a game, leading the team in rebounding as well, averaging 8 boards a game, shooting 57% from the field. But if they let Zach Freemantle get going from inside and get his game developing early, it could be interesting to see how Wes Miller and the Bearcats adjust. But Zach Freemantle on the inside is going to be the biggest matchup for guys like Dylan Mitchell, Aziz Bandaogo, AP. I think that's going to be the matchup to watch for Xavier inside. But on the other hand, this is a 3-point shooting team for Xavier. Ryan Conwell, 16 points per game. He was their big transfer portal addition alongside guard Deontay Maddox. And I think Wes Miller is very familiar with Ryan Conwell by now, stemming from the time where he was at USF in the AAC. They played against him last year at Indiana State in the NIT run. They know that Ryan Conwell is a pure sharpshooter. He's one of the best shooters in all of college basketball. I think everybody can kind of see that when you follow this Xavier squad, averaging nearly 16 points per game, but shooting 48% from behind the arc on the season. So overall, for Cincinnati, you cannot let Ryan Conwell get hot from behind the arc because that's going to be the difference maker. But don't expect Xavier to have this deep rotation. They're only going to be playing 8 or 9 guys. News just came out earlier this week that Trey Green, backup point guard, will be taking an immediate leave of absence from the team to focus on some health-related things, so he will not be playing on Saturday. That's a huge loss.
Getting the portal, you mean?
Don't know if that's the quote-unquote, but
that's getting the portal.
Yeah. Especially before the biggest game of the year, too. But essentially, their rotation's only going to be 8 or 9 guys. And I think the key for Cincinnati here is if you can find a way to get Zach Freemantle in foul trouble, and then you can find a way to get Jerome Hunter in foul trouble, Cincinnati should be able to dominate the paint in this one. But the thing I'm worried about with this Xavier matchup after talking with Sean Miller and the Xavier players today is Zach Fremantle's comments. He made some interesting comments. Obviously, everybody knows the kind of player he is. He is ready for this matchup because we asked him, we're like, is it different playing in the Crosstown Shootout on the road, essentially, compared to being at your home school at the Cintas Center? And he was like, essentially, it's the same game, man. He was like, the crowd's going to be intense. It's going to be a hostile crowd. But he goes, some people use it as they get scared of the crowd, and some people build off it and use it as fuel. And essentially, by making those kind of comments, Zach was like, I build off of that. But hearing that he has that villain mentality, obviously he is the only guy on this roster alongside Jerome Hunter that is 4-0 over Cincinnati during their career. So Cincinnati looking to become 4-1 in that matchup and give those guys their first loss. But overall, those two players, Zach Freemantle and Ryan Conwell, I think those are the two glue guys for Xavier. But everybody knows this game is always wonky in some sort of way. Last year, we saw Davion McKnight put up 20 points, his season high. Cincinnati a few years ago, we saw some other guys happen. So you never know what could happen in this game. Sometimes it could be your leading scorers, or sometimes it could be your 10th guy on the bench putting up the biggest number. So you never know with this one.
So this summer at the Smith League, and for those that don't know what the Smith League is, it's a local pro-am league where you got a lot of college guys that play in it. And my organization, Shining Star Sports, we have a team in it called Shine, and we played the team that Zach Fremantle's on, and we had a pretty good team. And when we played Fremantle's team at the time, he was leading scorer in the Smith League, and he played really well against us. And I was talking to some of the guys, our guys, after the game, and they were like, "Man, he's kind of like tough to guard." Like he hits you with stuff that it's almost awkward, but it works for him. And he just becomes a tough player to guard and a tough matchup for different people. So I've heard that from several players now. I have not watched Xavier play this year. JT, have you?
No, I haven't.
They only have 2 losses, and their 2 losses came against Michigan and TCU. And honestly, Michigan blew them out of the water. Michigan just outplayed them. But they only lost to TCU by 4. But essentially, they should have ended up beating TCU, but TCU kind of prevailed through the end. But Xavier should be sitting at 8-1 on the season heading into this one, 9-1. But instead, they end up falling in the last seconds to TCU.
What are they ranked right now?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
They're right outside the top 25, though.
I didn't think they were, but you know, you never know with this game, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But we can't forget every episode. You know what time it is? Neil Meyer in the name game. You need to dance for this, Neil. Come on. Oh boy. Hey Neil, you see his dance? You see his dance? All right, Neil. Let me scratch that. No more dance. Yeah, I thought maybe you being on the west side, you might have a little swag to you, but
Nah, I don't got that.
yeah, I was wrong. Okay, let's okay, so here's the problem. Xavier, and I feel like this has been true for a long time. Xavier doesn't really have guys with these unique names like we see with other teams. Am I right? Do you guys feel that way? Like, I don't feel they.
No, yeah, most certainly.
Yeah, for sure.
So this year, I think really the only guy is you have the roster up, Neil. Let's jump into it for Xavier. Number 6.
Number 6 is Lasinia Traore, who was their big time transfer addition this season, who won't be playing in this one after suffering a season-ending injury in the offseason. But that was the big guy that they went out and got in the portal. But
that's too bad.
Lasinia Traore.
Yeah, it's too bad. I hate to hear about injuries and stuff, but
Yeah,
since Xavier doesn't have many players, let me just throw a curveball at you, okay, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Get on your Google search, my friend, and look up one of the teams that I watch because my family lives there. That's the Florida Gators in Gainesville, Florida. Now,
sounds good.
Todd Golden, who's the coach of Florida, he used to be the coach of San Francisco. He's got a lot of international ties, so a lot of players on his team come from overseas. So he's had some unique names last year and even this year. So let's start with that. Florida Gators, number 3, Neil.
For Florida, number 3, Micah Hand-Lockton.
Hand-Lockton?
Hand-Lockton.
Where's he from?
He is from Lake Norman, North Carolina, where he started his career at Marshall before transferring to Florida.
He might have some parents that are from somewhere else. Number 7.
Number 7 is Urban Klavzar.
You did pretty good with that. Not too bad. No, yeah, nothing like what was that guy you sent, JT? Was it Gob Gob? Gob Gob. There was somebody on Instagram that was like a track star named Gout Gout. Did you see that?
Nah,
yeah.
Gout.
Did you see that, Neil?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, his name was Gout Gout. I'm like,
Gout is wild.
That is super wild. Like, all right, number 9.
Number 9 is Ruben Chinyelu.
You're doing pretty good today, Neil. Number 30.
Number 30 is Caius Kublikas.
Yeah, that was the one.
That was the one. That felt like a couple different languages kind of mixed together. Say it again.
Caius Kublikas. He's from Lithuania.
Oh, he might be homies with Seamoss.
Yeah, he might know Seamoss for real.
Hey, if we're going to talk about the Florida roster real quick, everybody pull it up and look down at number 32. This kid is a true freshman at 7'9".
Oh, yeah. You don't know about him?
Oh, I know his story, but that's just crazy to think about.
Yeah, I think he's redshirting.
He's redshirting this year, but 7'9" at 18 is crazy.
Well, you know, I asked my brother about that. My brother said that when that kid walks around campus, like everybody takes pictures with him. Like he can't even. He's got to leave like super early to get somewhere.
Oh, for real?
Well, just knowing, you know, all these people are going to say, "Hey, can I get?"
That man can't even fit in a car because he's so tall, like 7'9".
Yeah, how do you fly too, man? Like,
yeah, that's got to be like too tall. Like, no,
that's not the definition of an exit row. That's the definition of like you got to give him a whole aisle being that tall.
I mean, chairs.
Yeah.
Just chairs.
Yeah, like normal things. Like that's. I hope my man have a good life, man. Just because, like, Because it's 7'9". 7'9" is crazy, man.
Yeah, because you wonder when guys like that, like when I met Bill Walton, right? And I'm not sure
Yeah.
how tall Bill Walton
He was
is.
like 6'11" or 7 foot, right? Seven
He,
between that
he
and 7'1".
had to be.
Yeah.
And when I met him, the first time I met him, he just looked. I mean, he looked like a giant. And the
Yeah.
second time I met him, which was the span, it was God, maybe 5 or 6 years apart.
Yeah.
That's the second time I met him. He looked bad. Like his knees were bad. He was starting to hunch over a little bit, and I was like, you know, it wasn't long after that. I mean, he recently passed, but I could see he was going through something. But I'm like, even the quality of life when everybody thinks it's cool to be so big, but then it's like, well, think about them when they're 70.
Yeah.
It's cool to walk around like that.
Yeah. 7'9" is gonna be tough because like the thing is like hopefully everything like works out for him where he has enough money to be able to get extra. Like, cause you gotta make. I'm pretty sure like you gotta get stuff specially like confined to you. You know what I mean? Like even cars, I'm guessing they probably got to add some extra notches for him to have a chance to like.
And that truck's got to be lifted for sure.
Yeah, like that. Like he got to be able to have the funds to be able to do that. People aren't going to be like, "Oh, you're tall. We're gonna give you this." You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And people thought Zach Edey was big too.
Like just getting clothes. Like he can't go to Macy's and just buy some clothes. Like you know what I mean? Like that's gotta be tough. Like he can't even get no jogging pants. Like going to Macy's. Like everything gotta be specially made for him. I'm guessing, or he gonna have. I mean, you can wear tight stuff nowadays. So
it's like that movie. What is it? Blindside, when Michael Orr goes and buys clothes and he has to go to a different store because they all were too small. That's what it essentially is, because he's gonna have to shop somewhere else. 7'9".
Yeah, he got to get everything custom made, and he's not like a huge, like he's not like a big person. He's like slender, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
I couldn't imagine. I'm glad. I mean, I hope everything works out for homie. Hopefully, he's like, if basketball don't work, hopefully he can play overseas. Hopefully, he's smart enough where he can get a good job. You know what I mean? Like something, man. I just hope it works out for him.
I don't know what you do if you don't hoop. Like I mean that tall. Like I'm not sure what the other jobs.
Maybe he'd be like a librarian. What if he's like a librarian?
Nothing wrong with that one.
Sit for long periods.
Because you had to sit down. Like that'd be crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know what he would be. I mean, it's been whatever he's interested in, but that'd be crazy though. Just imagine like you go to your job. Like if I go to my job and it's just like a dude that's like 7'9", like selling mortgages too. Like damn,
like a big mortgage. Hey, you know what? I think I could make this happen. Let me call my brother. Let me see if we can get a hold of the SID there and get him on the podcast and just ask him questions about being that tall.
Yeah, like I got a lot of questions, man. Like this is taking a turn I didn't expect.
I'm gonna ask my brother to holler at him and see if he would be interested in that. Let me work on that. Now the Big O segment is sponsored by Smart Dog Solutions. But let me say this about the Xavier game, and I do want to get into this because obviously you guys get it just as much as I do. Everywhere you go this week, it's who do you think's going to win the shootout? What are your thoughts on the game? UC should crush them. They're at home, blah, blah, blah. And I've been saying the same thing. I don't know. This game is wacky. Like, UC could be number 1. Xavier could be number 157th. And Xavier could win. Like, it's just so wacky. And I don't even know what to expect. I know this. If it was at Xavier, I just pretty much I don't even go to the game at Xavier anymore. Like I just feel like we're going to lose there. I'm sorry. Like we have. I mean, shit.
Yeah, they haven't won since 2001 there.
That's unbelievable. So
crazy.
I'm excited that we are playing home, but to not drift too far, because we'll talk about that in the next segment here, but my player to watch, and I'm thinking like, okay, because this is such a wacky game, I can't pick the probably conventional person. Like I know, Neil, you talked about Dylan Mitchell, and of course he could be an impact guy, but I'm like, Sean's going to focus in on the Jizzles, because he, played well last year, the Dylan Mitchells. I must be outside the box. A guy that's been struggling, I think they're going to leave open, is Connor Hickman.
That makes sense.
He's been struggling. And,
Yeah.
I mean, what's he had? 4 points the last 2 games? Neil, you're better with the stats than I am. Yeah. I'm just visualizing the 2 buckets I remember. But
yeah.
So if he's open and he just makes the first one, he's capable, right?
Yeah.
So, and this game's so wacky. You don't know. I mean, I don't know if a CJ Frederick is healthy. If he's healthy, he comes out of the blue. He's capable.
Might hit 3 threes or something. Because that's how it goes. That's why I went Aziz. I'm like, because I was gonna go like the normal people, like the normal 4, but I'm like, no, that's the shootout, man. Somebody else is gonna have to be like make a real impact.
Last year's a prime example of this game because Davion McKnight heading into this game last year.
You got the wrong one. You thinking?
No, I know. Travion blew up in this game a few years ago too.
You thinking of me? It was Oliveri last year.
Yeah, but Davion McKnight had a season high 20 versus Xavier. Oliveri blew up. And he went like 6 of 18 from the field.
Yeah, you're right.
And all 6 of them came from behind the arc. I didn't forget about Quincy.
Okay, yeah,
I didn't forget about Quincy.
Yeah, Quincy went crazy on us.
Davion McKnight was averaging like 8 points a game heading into the Crosstown Shootout last year, and then he bursted off for 20, and that was the difference maker last year. They made Oliveri work for his shots.
Yeah,
I mean, they had him 0 for 12 anywhere inside of the 3-point line.
Yeah, it was McKnight. I'm tripping. I thought. I don't know why I was thinking that.
Well, he finished. Oliveri finished with 27 last year in this game, but most of them came from the foul line and behind the arc. He didn't get crap inside the 3-point line, but Davion McKnight was just as important in that game as Quincy Oliveri was.
Hey, Neil, you brought up Blewett. Now think back to that Blewett game at Fifth Third Arena. Now, Blewett's one of the best players on Xavier's team that year, so he wasn't a random guy, but still, that performance, I don't know.
That first half performance was nutty.
Hold on, Neil. In my lifetime, I don't know that I've seen a performance in the shootout like that. I mean, what do you have, 40?
44, I think.
44, yeah.
I've not seen a performance like that. That performance was wacky because no one ever does something like that. And it was at our place, which normally doesn't happen at Fifth Third Arena.
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember that like yesterday. And then the one that kills me that always like that I'll never forget, like within the recent 10 years, I guess, is when D. Davis started hitting all them damn threes.
Oh my
Dude was shooting 15% coming into that game, bro. 15%. Like it was literally in the thing. Leave him open in the 1-3-1. Don't rush out to him.
Bam.
The motherfucker I was like, bruh, when he made the first one, I'm like, okay. He made the second one, I'm like, bruh, this about to be the D. Davis game, and damn sure it was.
Man, let me tell you what. That's the most frustrating shootout ever.
Yeah.
Just because I was at the practice the day before.
Oh.
I was at UC's practice.
Yeah.
Like, and no question, when they were doing the walkthrough and the scout, it was go under that screen, go under this.
Yeah.
D. And then he's hitting them. And I remember the guards looking at Mick like, but it's like, it's not Mick's fault because the tape shows, the stats show, he ain't making those.
Yeah.
But it's the shootout.
It's the shootout.
The shootout, I think you throw all that stuff out. You got to guard.
You just got to play ball.
You got to
play ball how you normally going to play ball.
Absolutely.
Because the thing is, if you get to overthinking in shootout, I feel like that's why we be down like 15 points fast. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun on that, but you got to play ball because once he made 2 threes, once he made the second one, you got to start chasing him. You got to start going over the screen, just even though his numbers, say don't do it, right? Because it's a shootout, right? It's like, don't just keep going under. I mean, after a while, he's like, shit, this is one of them games. Everybody's been in a zone, I'm pretty sure, like, damn, I'm hitting everything. At least once in their life, like, no matter what. Or if you done something, you're just like, hey, I can't, I'm just on fire, no matter what it is in life or something. Like, everybody's been in that zone before. You're like, damn, I could throw that motherfucker up and just, like, backwards and you think you're gonna make it. Like everybody's been there at least once in their life. So that's what D Davis was on in the shootout though. And he came in that mug shooting 15%, like literally like 15, like 15.1% or some shit. Like it was like
yeah, I got the stats in front of me from that D Davis year. Heading into that game, he was shooting to 15% roughly from the field. 20% from behind the arc.
From three.
From behind the arc. And then he comes into Cincinnati and he buries 5 of 5 in 40 minutes, goes 16 and 8, but 15 of them come behind the arc.
Yep. That's crazy.
Yep, May 5, I remember.
That's crazy.
And fifth third.
And you know, it's like what's the Xavier like Xavier's thinking like, no, like he's probably capable, right? You're a hooper, you're capable. Yeah. You're a starter at a Division I school at that level. You're capable. So
yeah, if you playing D1, you can make them. It's just like I'd rather you shoot them. You know what I mean? If you shoot like that, I'd rather shoot them. But then it's like after you make a couple, all right, it's like all right, first time bang, all right, cool. Then the second one, you like, all right, shit, it's time to scrap that plan. Like you gotta, especially in the shootout, you gotta scrap it, man. Folks, just fire, run him off now. It's time to run his ass off that three, please.
Oh man! And listen, this next segment, I do want to get into the game itself, just a little bit more. So let's save some of that for this next segment. Right. But the Big O segment was sponsored by Smart Dog Solutions. Do you have a business that needs better inventory control, production management, or improved accounting control? Outgrown QuickBooks or can't afford NetSuite? Give loyal Bearcat grads Doug and Kathy Jacobs at Smart Dog Solutions a call. They've been in your position and will love to help you solve your problems. They can be contacted at 513-739-9473 or online at smartdog-solutions.com. You're listening to the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast presented by Donahue Accounting Services. So let's get into the Kenyon segment sponsored by Greg Hooden at Beachmont Toyota. This is where we cover the keys to the game. Now, JT, what do the Bearcats need to do to win? If we know. Do we know, JT?
Man, I don't even know. Only the Lord knows. But only Lord got the answer for this. I know he probably got bigger things.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's like, that's too wacky for me.
Yeah, it's so wacky. And he got more important stuff to worry about in a basketball game. But you know what I mean? But honestly, the Bearcats can't start slow. Bearcats notoriously start slow. So that's the major thing. Like, I don't care if they're down a little bit early. I just don't want them to be down, 15-1. 12-2, so I just think, like, even if Xavier comes out on a little run, if it's 10-4, I don't want to see that, but it's not terrible. But I also want to see where Xavier's up 17-3 fast, in the first segment, and now the Bearcats have to just keep climbing. So then every shot that Xavier is making, it just gives them cushion. I wouldn't mind a UC coming out like that, with that, but history has shown they haven't done that. So that's the one thing. Like, just keep it where even if Xavier's up, it's 12-8. Is 15-10. 14-12 early. Because I just think if they can keep it close early, I think the pressure of not winning will kind of release for them. Because I feel like Xavier kind of knows they're playing with house money. They've been winning lately. They feel like they're going, no matter who has the better ranking. They feel like, hey, right now I'm the big dog. Y'all kind of a little brother right now. And, I think if the Bearcats just that first 4 to 8 minutes, they could just keep it where either they have a nice lead or they're only down a couple points, everything will be okay. That, and I just think they have to control the glass. The Bearcats, when they do lose sometimes, or if the game's tight, it is, the rebounding margin is a little close. I think they're more athletic than Xavier. They have to, impose their will on the glass. Don't allow a lot of offensive rebounds, because even when they have dominated, kind of the things have been, they've allowed more offensive rebounds than you kind of want to see. And in a game like the shootout, that will turn into mass open threes. Something will happen where it will give Xavier that push over the hump, and you don't want that to happen. I think they want to keep their offensive rebounds under 8 on that side. Something I'm kind of looking at, and that's the main thing. Don't turn up, take care of the ball. That's a given. But I think the Bearcats have done a good job taking care of the ball. But it's more so the glass and not starting slow. Those are the two main things that I'm watching more so than how somebody's playing. Because I think as a collective, those guys can make enough plays, but I just don't want to see them where they're climbing uphill the whole game, and because Xavier's going to have confidence, man. They have dominated the series lately, and it hurts my soul to say that, but it's the honest truth.
Yeah, so JT, before I move to Neil real quick, so you said something I want to touch upon, and that is starting off hot, not getting down.
Yeah.
And I actually have in my notes, first 6 possessions are crucial.
Yeah.
Right? So I agree with you. So I think there's 2 things I factor in. The crowd has to be off the charts.
From the jump.
The crowd has to be into it. There can't be this I know the game starts at 2. People got to be there early.
Yeah.
Their seats, ready to turn up. I think they're doing something 30 minutes before the game, or
they're opening the gates a half hour early.
No, there's something that's gonna. No, I meant there's like a video or something that's starting before the game, or there's some kind of presentation. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I read it wrong, but the crowd, and I don't doubt the crowd, but the crowd being into it, and if UC can get some defensive stops, do some good things offensively, what that does to the opposing team's like, oh shit, we're about to get our ass beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need to have. That's how teams get disconnected.
Yeah,
when that happens.
For sure. No, 100%. That has to happen. That's a key thing, man. I think that's a key thing in general because it's a game of runs. I just feel like Xavier's deposited enough equity where they're like, bro, we gonna stick in this game. We're gonna be in this game. I think UC has to chip away a game. It's a game at a time. You take away some of that confidence, but being at home, you can't drop the ball at home. At home, I know it's only one game. It doesn't ruin the season or anything, but at the same time, you live in that close of a radius, and UC. I mean, Cincinnati is struggling in the sports department right now. We are looking for something to hang our hats on, and this game is one of those games where you want to be proud to be a Bearcat fan. That's for sure.
Now, Neil, segueing to you, this game's wacky. We've said that many times. What do you think could happen to where the Bearcats could blow this thing open, right, and win big, win by 15, win by 20, which would be an unbelievable performance in a shootout, which usually is a tight contested game? I mean, what would need to happen for the Bearcats to win really big like that?
I think the first thing for Cincinnati to do is they can't come out to a slow start like JT mentioned. If they come out to a slow start, it's going to be hard to play behind, especially in this matchup. But the one thing that Cincinnati does have in their favor, if that were to happen, is the crowd behind them. Now, that's something Dylan Mitchell has made clear all season, was that the crowd at Fifth Third Arena will simply win ball games this year. And I think this could be a game where the crowd comes out, could play a huge role, and potentially even win the game for Cincinnati if they do their job right and the Bearcats hold Xavier on the court. But the biggest thing for Cincinnati to win big, I think if you can find a way, and I mean find a way, I'm looking for Dan Skillings, Simas Lukosius, Dylan Mitchell. I'm looking for those guys to come in and attack Zach Freemantle and Jerome Hunter. I think if they get those two guys in foul trouble early, it's going to allow so many things to open up for Cincinnati, especially on the glass. If you can find a way to get Zach Freemantle 2 fouls in the first 5 minutes, make Sean Miller go to his bench, I think that's huge. Because if you take away Jerome Hunter and Zach Freemantle in the front court, I want them to play John Hughley as the third guy off the bench in the paint, because Cincinnati will abuse John Hughley with the size and the physicality there, because you go from Zach Freemantle and Jerome Hunter to John Hughley. It's a step down, maybe 2, in terms of bigs. And if you can get them into the foul trouble, that's huge. But Cincinnati saw John Hughley last year, and they dominated the glass in that matchup. If they can get those guys in early foul trouble, dominate the glass, and I'm not talking just win by 5 or 6 rebounds. I'm talking punch them on the glass. Maybe 48 to 38, something like that. Double-digit margin on the glass. I think that's going to be the difference maker here in this one. But on top of it, it's a wonky game. Everybody knows that matchup. But for them to win big, it starts on the glass. If that happens and they are able to get Xavier in early foul trouble, take advantage, because everybody knows this matchup, right? So you're looking down at this matchup every year. The refs are there, but they're not there in a sense. This is going to be a physical matchup. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see if Cincinnati can attack and get Xavier in foul trouble. But I'm going to say you got to win the rebounding margin, and you got to take care of the ball. I think if you do those 2 things, this should be a game for Cincinnati that they should arguably come out on top, to say the least.
The Kenyon segment is sponsored by Greg Hooden at Beachmont Toyota. Last thing I want to say for this segment is I love this game. Like growing up here, the Crosstown Shootout has always been my favorite game. Just because the town, so divided when it comes to this game.
Yeah.
Love rivalry games. Now, in my opinion, not to put like pressure on them, but I think the Bearcats have to win this game. And it's not a thing where you lose and like, oh, okay, we lost to Xavier, blah, blah. No, we've got to win this basketball game that we've talked about from the beginning in the offseason, start of the season, what this team is capable of.
Yeah.
And if they're going to be what we talk about, they've got to win this basketball game. You have to beat Xavier.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And I'm going to be – it's always been my favorite game. I think I'm extra pumped up this year because I know it's a game we have to win. It's at our crib, and the crowd's going to be into it. Now, we've lost the last 5, right?
Yeah.
We're up in the series. So, what is it, 51-40? What is it, 51-40, something like that? Because it's the 92nd game, right?
Xavier is 14-1 in the last 35 matchups that were determined by 7 points or less.
Gotcha. So, listen. We've got to win this game, and I if we've lost the last 5, that means I think the last time we won was in Fifth Third Arena, right? That would mean we won there, right? So
that Cumberland probably
was that the Cumberland game?
I think so. I feel like it mentally. I feel like that was it.
Yeah. So I have no magical formula. I'm gonna go to practice. I'm gonna try to go to practice tomorrow for the tail end of it. I mean, I don't know what the magical formula. Fans, and let me say this too: the rivalry games. I always feel like the tougher team wins, right? The tougher team. Like I remember when I went to the Crosstown Shootout a lot at Xavier. One of my really, really good friends, he and his wife have tickets, and his wife would always give up tickets, and he would bring me. So I went to the game at Xavier quite a bit.
Yeah.
And a lot of the games that we lost there, I just felt like the first, as we talk about, Neil, like those first like 6 or so possessions, Xavier was tougher, man. And it bothered me. You know what I mean? Like physically bullying us. Like I can't remember the big dude that Xavier used to have. He was
Kenny Freeze?
No.
Are you talking about Reynolds?
Oh,
Reynolds?
yeah.
Jalen Reynolds?
No, the guy he played in the TBT last year. The big, tall dude, the goggles.
So Jalen Reynolds was one.
Yeah, he brought a lot of physicality. I remember he was at my barbershop when he was here. I used to be like, man, bro. Like I used to be like, come on, man.
Like,
he said they can't stop me.
Oh God, it would drive
Reynolds,
me crazy.
like Reynolds.
And if you think about it, and you think about physicality and you think about toughness, right?
Yeah.
Of Bearcat basketball.
Exactly.
Right? It shouldn't like Xavier's more cerebral, finesse, those type of things. They should be out
doing
right.
Yeah. They shouldn't be doing your brand of basketball.
Bingo.
In that game, especially in that game. Like that game, you should be like, I'm going to punch you in the mouth. Like I need that Yancey Gates mentality. Like, hey,
man,
if you gotta punch them, you gotta punch. Like it just that's what it gets to. I mean, I'm sorry, like you gotta win something.
Yeah, I like those first six possessions, man.
The early,
we gotta be physical. We gotta be tough.
Yeah,
I don't care if we get a couple fouls early.
Yeah. Just show them like, hey, you go in this lane, we not letting it slide. Like you better come in here with, you know what I mean, with physicality, or you getting put on your backside, none of that dance and stuff. Like I'm telling, like we gotta slap, we gotta punch them. Like we gotta punch them and show them that we here for this fight. Like, because otherwise, I mean, normally it's like a boxing match. The first couple rounds when you feeling each other out, normally Xavier is punching us with combinations, like pop, 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 letting us know, and then now we're reeling, and then we gotta make a chance. And so most time we get back into it, but you know, after the first couple rounds, they got it deposited, and that's why they win the game by whatever points it is. It's 3 points, or it's 7 or 10, because they deposited early in those. And we, you know, now we're gambling. You see the judge is like, damn, we need a knockout. You know what I mean? That knockout run.
Yep. Well, listen, I'm as excited this year for this game as I've been in a long time, because I think this team's special, and we need this victory, and I think it will hype up the Bearcat Nation even more. Like,
that it go to another level. This is a big one. This game, they pull this off. No matter, I don't care how it looks, they do it. It's gonna put West.
Yep.
People are gonna hype West up more. People are gonna hype the team up more. This is gonna be on the team, not to read the clippings too much, but they pull it off. You know, I think this is gonna show like what everybody's been saying. This is why we feel this way. I mean, they haven't beat this team in a long time, and it got to end.
It is time. And the Kenyon segment, Keys to the Game, was sponsored by Greg Hooden at Beachmont Toyota. Come see fellow Bearcat Greg Hooden at Beachmont Toyota for all your Toyota needs, cars, trucks, and SUVs. Greg Hooden at Beachmont Toyota is ready to help you get into your new Toyota. All right, fellas. It is time for our Twyman segment, sponsored by Visionary Cleaners, and this is where we cover hot topics. There's one hot topic right now in my eyes, and that is the Bearcats Black Cat alternative uniforms. They released those, and I didn't know. First of all, I didn't know that they were even designing those. You know, usually I hear different things or whatever. Hadn't heard anything about those. I heard they were going to do different things this year.
Yeah.
But I started getting text messages like, yo, fire emoji, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, snap. So good timing with the game.
Yeah.
To, keep generating that hype. JT, your thoughts on the Black Cat alternative uniforms?
Like them a lot. Like a lot. Now we just gotta win in them. Like the thing. But I still don't. I'm not even gonna put that in the atmosphere. I'm just gonna say we're gonna win in them, and then people gonna like them more than people like the white uniforms for the football team. Because these are fire, bro. Like these are super fire.
They're tough.
Like, come on. They're gonna wear the Oreo. They're gonna wear the Oreo 4. Like the Oreo 4s.
I don't think they're not playing in those.
They're not.
You can't play in retros.
You can't. When they changed that?
They changed it.
When? I didn't know.
I don't know when, but obviously we've only been with Jordan for what
Yeah.
second year. But on the court, you've never seen a kid with retros, have you?
Damn, I never did not
You
peep
haven't.
that. I don't
They
know how I let that slip.
yeah they want the Bearcat. They want
They
Bearcat
promote, so they want to promote the
performance shoes.
yeah.
Yeah, they want the kids to buy the because listen, the retro sell.
Yeah, automatically.
Retro sell. They're I forget what they just reported how much the Jordan brand made. You know, whatever $4 billion of that broken down into retros was unbelievable. They
Yeah.
sell those without even advertising, right?
Yeah.
So they need the performance shoes to sell more.
Makes sense. But I didn't even peep that. So when did they change it? Because I remember, like, I mean, I feel like somebody had, but not, it was been a minute ago though. Like, but Caleb Love has been in college for a long ass time. But he was wearing them 11. He was wearing the Pats.
Yeah,
Maybe he had to, he was
that
at North
was
Carolina when he was doing it too.
so that's almost so he's in his second year at Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's almost maybe 4 years ago.
Damn, that's crazy. But I didn't even
Yeah,
keep that. Damn,
yeah.
that's
If
crazy.
you notice,
Normally I'll be noticing that little stuff like that, especially with the shoes.
yeah. If you go back
I'm
from
mad at
last
myself
year,
at that.
there's not been one guy on the court with the
Nope,
retro. They've
it
all been
hasn't.
performance. Yeah.
That's
So,
crazy.
and that's
Yeah.
a and Jamal and the team have been, or the Jordan team have said, you are to wear these.
So,
not,
question.
yeah.
Not to cut you off. Are
No,
they going to have special performance shoes for him then?
For this game?
Yes.
That I don't know. So I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm being honest. I don't know.
Okay.
I know they've received 2 special pairs. So the Jordan 30, I think the beginning of the year they got the 38s or 39 with the CPAW on them. And then
yep, I saw that.
Then they got the Tatum Cincinnati Red.
Yeah.
So those have kind of been the special
ones
thus far. Now it wouldn't surprise me because remember last year they got the all red Zions with the CPAW. They got those right before the shootout.
Yeah.
Last year, and not everybody wore them.
Yeah.
So who knows? But they did make one mistake. And I don't mean some of that stuff is so hard to put together, but
yeah,
they released that or multiple images of the uniform. The uniform print on the side is the elephant print, which is from the Jordan 3s.
Yeah.
Those are the Jordans they should have put in the image, not the 4s. Because that's
True.
that was the
I just thought about that too.
Yeah, that was the only mistake. You know, they made it.
That color just came out too, so that would have been an easy one to grab.
The
Jordan last couple weeks too.
The black cements just got re-released. It would have been perfect timing.
But I think they need to have like some special Tatums though for this. Like they need to have some all black joints with some maybe like white trim on them joints and then a red CPAW on them things.
That'd be
fire. I personally like the Tatums from last year better than the Tatum this year. That's my personal.
The ones that Skillings is wearing.
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, I bought Juju some of those for hoops. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
I know Skillings really likes those. Yeah. I like the Tatums this year. I like the red white version that the Bearcats got. I thought thought those were pretty dope. Now we know Neil's not a big shoe guy. I don't know how big of a swag guy you are, the drip as the kids call it, but are you up on the drip, Neil?
Nah, not like that. Not like that. I could. I don't got the drip like that. I ain't gonna do myself like that. I'll just keep it simple. I ain't gonna say I got it when I know I don't got it.
That's all right. No,
that's fair. Gotta know your lane.
Know your lane. If you got your own swag, then that's what makes you you. That's what makes you unique. Your thoughts? I know you like them, but your thoughts on the uniforms?
Yeah, no, I love them. But before we talk about it, we got to give a shout out to our guy Ethan Harrison for putting that together, that video together. That was pretty fire announcement video. But overall, I love them. I love the all black look. Now I know everyone was kind of curious about what was going to happen when the announcement came out, but personally, I love the all Cincy look right there across the chest. I love that look, and the all black looks clean with it. But I like it being how's the good word? The monochrome, I guess is the right word. The monochrome color scheme. I love the look of it. I think it's going to really pop on Saturday. Now, obviously, people are going to kind of be wondering what they might look like in person, but I know if I was a student and I saw that announcement and I was living on the dorms and stuff and I needed some money, shit, mom and dad, hey, New Jersey just dropped. I know Christmas is around the corner, but I need this for Saturday.
Yeah.
That's the call. Like those are, if they're in the bookstores right now, whether that's the boys on campus or whatnot, I know they're flying off the shelves. If they're available to sell, people are going to be calling their families, locking in, trying to wear those to the game on Saturday. But overall, I love the look of them. The design on the side, the elephant print too. Oh, I really like it. I really like that. Now, I do, like you guys mentioned, I wish they would maybe wear an all black pair of shoes with it, but obviously every player has their different preference of what shoes they wear. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Now, if they all came out in the same, like, black Jordans with the white trim to kind of match with it, like JT mentioned, that would be tough too. But I really love the jerseys combination, and I'm glad they brought it out for this game. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if they only wear it for this game or they wear it more throughout the season. So that's still going to be kind of interesting to see. But I really love that they brought it out for this game.
The Twyman segment is sponsored by Visionary Cleaners. Yeah, I think throughout the year they've got some different things they want to release in terms of maybe some uniforms and some other cool different swag items and stuff, because in this day and age with recruiting, you've got to keep that momentum going. Like, you've got to make yourself look like the coolest brand in America, right? You've got a good team right now.
Yeah.
Make them look good. I think about this all the time, JT. I'm like, for the life of me, I don't understand this. How come you've got basketball teams, right, that have uniforms at the beginning of the year, and they've wore the same uniforms throughout the entire year, home and away. There's no switch ups. There's no alternates. It's just swing. But yet their football team, and I'm talking about the Bearcats, I'm just talking about maybe another school. Their football team will have like 30 alternate versions. I'm like, doesn't it cost more money for football?
Got to.
But I'm like, basketball, you got like, what, 15 guys?
Yep.
And it's not. So I'm like, if I'm a coach, and Wes Miller's a perfect example. He's getting Bearcat brand and basketball back up to a certain level. I'm Wes Miller. I'm like, hey, I want 4 or 5 different alternate jerseys this year.
For sure.
We're rocking out. We're playing Kansas at home, #1 team in the country. Oh, we're coming out in snakeskin uniform. I'm making that up. You know what I'm saying? Like something wild.
Nah, for real.
And I'm all about I think doing things that are different. I think different isn't especially in this generation of, you're in it for recruiting too. And I think these kids look for things that are different. JT, your thoughts?
No, 100%, man. Like, I was talking to, like, during the TBT time, I was talking to a lot of the people that had played here, and they were just like, dog, like, I love that. I love, like, where the program's headed, everything. He's like, man, I ain't gonna lie, I'm jealous of them young boys because they all get the Jordan gear. You know what I mean? He was like, man, I love playing here, but imagine if we'd have had Jordan gear, like, oh my God, like that was like everybody was talking about. I talked to like three, four, the cats on the team. So it just means a lot, man. And like I was telling people, when people were like, well, it's Under Armour, blah blah blah, the brand doesn't matter. I was like, it does. It does. It does. It does. And I was like you might, because you're not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't buy shoes like I used to, but like, But back in my day, I have, you know what I mean? I still go on runs where I'm like, I got a shoe problem. Like it's one of my vices. And when it comes to shoes, Nike Jordan is the number one reason why I have a vice or a problem. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what's going on for the most part. Like a lot of these people are reporting on it. They don't know about the damn shoes. Most of the shoes, every once in a while, something might slip through the cracks on me. But at the end of the day, I pretty much know what's going on when it comes to the shoe thing, when it comes to why people like this shoe, why this one is attractive to a lot of people. You know what I mean? It's just how it goes. That's one of my things. So when it comes to that, these young men are wearing the shoes off the court. Like even when they were in Under Armour, they are wearing the Jordans. They're wearing the 3s. They're wearing the 4s.
Yep.
They have on retros. They got the ones on. So like, why do people are just so like, don't think about the money. Think about like what it means to people. The young men are already wearing them and they have to pay for them right now. If they can get a couple free pair to come here and they're going to get some exclusive stuff, it's going to, NIL is prevalent, of course, but on top of that, you can get some exclusive stuff, be a part of the Jordan brand, and play at a top-notch school. It's come on now. If you want to think about the ultimate NIL, if you could make it to the NBA, think you're good enough to make the NBA, and you already have an in with the Jordan brand when you go play the NBA, just think about that. That's huge. And a lot of these young men that are coming here, they are like a lot of them are coming here thinking they have a chance to play or know they have a chance to play beyond UC. So it's more than, it's a lot of stuff deeper than basketball, and it's a lot of stuff that you can't quantify just by a number. It's the swag of the Jordan brand, what it means, who you'll have access to. It's a big thing, man. Like I don't know if, we're on our podcast. I'll try to be too long with it, but like just think about it. I listen to the Knuckleheads podcast. Darius Miles and Quentin Richardson, they both were Jordan brand guys. And when they talk to people that like were a part of the Jordan brand, like they just talk about like how much access and how many boxes they get. And just like, it's super cool just to hear like how many shoes they got, like they have to give away because they just have so much just because of that brotherhood or being able to be a part of that company. So it's just something, it means a lot, man. Like it's other good companies, don't get me wrong, but the Jordan brand, the GOAT, the guy, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. And it means a lot. Wes understands how big it is to this team. And just see how they've been recruiting, man. Jordan brand, you saw how stuff before it was announced, everybody was trying to leak it because it's big news. It's big news. It's huge news. That thing got leaked a million times before it really got out. Just think about it, right? Yeah. Because it's big news, and that's why.
Yeah,
it means a lot.
In the deal with Jordan and Nike is going to continue to get better and better for the Bearcats, both football and basketball, as things go along. And to your point earlier, Neil, you got to remember too, in 2024, and it was very different in 1999 when I played, but being sponsored by Jordan means if you get drafted, so let's say you got a Dan Skillings who ends up, let's say his trajectory, he ends up to where he's a lottery pick, let's just say, like you said, that's an in right there with the Jordan brand to be a Jordan brand athlete in the NBA. And a lot of reasons, like back when I played, Jordan didn't sponsor, or the company didn't sponsor UC with that necessarily as the mindset that, hey, we want to sponsor UC because we're going to get some guys in the league. It was, this is a great way to continue to get our product out, because you got to remember, retros didn't exist when I played. We were playing in the Jordan 10s, 11s, 12s. Like they were actually a shoe that was the newest shoe. It wasn't until I forget what year that the ones got retroed, and they sat on the shelf. Nobody bought them. Now, ones are some of the most sought after, retros in the world.
You could get a one like a one would sit on the shelf like a mug. Like now it's crazy, ain't it, Meach? Like
Man.
you could literally be like, "Oh, the one's coming out. All right, I don't want them. I shouldn't get them," and then go buy them. Like a week later, you still could be all right. Probably.
Yeah. Not
Crazy.
now.
Yeah.
So I think with so fast forward to now, UC looks at it, and I can tell you for a fact, West looks at it like if you're selling to a 5-star player, come to Cincinnati. If you ball out and have the potential to go to the NBA, we're going to put you in touch with the Jordan people. There might be a deal done right there, right? So that's part of the whole like bigger picture thing with this Jordan. I know, and I do want to address something. I know when UC Cunningham and West and the whole crew were working on the whole Jordan Nike deal. There were people that, first of all, didn't think it was going to go down. So I'm glad it did go down. I think that's just fans just being like, "Oh, I don't want to be let down." You know, you're hyped up and then let down.
Yeah.
But and I don't mean this. I don't mean this disrespectfully with Under Armour, but Under Armour just wasn't it. It wasn't where UC was looking to go at that time. Like the trajectory of getting to that next level was Nike and Jordan, man. Plain and simple. Big 100%. 12, Nike and Jordan. Like this is a top tier. Think about this too, and I'll let you guys speak. I'm sorry but I get excited about this. I mean, think about this. We were the first ever. I saw you do it. We were the first ever team to step on a basketball court in the history of college basketball to wear the Jordan brand uniforms and shoes. First ever to step on a basketball court. And if you think about just think about the history of, Michael Jordan's the GOAT, be my GOAT.
Yeah.
But if you even think about where shoes are today, you've got to put that on Michael Jordan changed the whole culture, the way people looked at shoes, and we're part of that. I mean, the history with Cincinnati basketball, just sports in general is something special. And then to have the Jordan with that, it's just the right fit. And I don't mean shit on Under Armour, but it just wasn't it, man. Sorry. That's all I got.
They ain't want them Under Armours. And Steph is the guy. Steph is that guy. And they got good money from it. So like overall, it was the right business move to do. Like it was a hellified good deal for UC at the time, especially them not being in a power conference. You need to get money wherever you can get the money streams from. Right. And it was a very good deal. So you had to take it. So like on a business side of things, great, right? But on the swag and trying to recruit somebody, all right, nobody wants the Under Armours. Like, bro, like you gotta like damn near know Steph Curry to want some Under Armours. Like Steph gotta be like, hey man, I think you're one of the best players coming up. That's like you gotta literally have Steph Curry help you sell some damn Under Armours. Without that, ain't nobody buying them down. I mean, they're not going under or nothing like that, but it's not moving the needle. Like Adidas is kind of getting better with they stuff a little bit. But shit, Anthony Edwards are fire. I like those. Those are like, those are good.
By the way, I need to shout this out. The guy who designed Anthony Edwards shoes, which is, arguably the best-selling Adidas basketball shoe right now. I think we agree with that.
Yeah.
From Cincinnati, Andrew Parks, my guy. AP designed. Yep, he designed those straight from Cincinnati. Yep.
Nice.
Got a shout out.
Like, Didn't like Adidas like take a whole bunch of Nike designers, and that's when their shoes started? Because like a couple of the Dames are decent too. Like it's a few that are like solid, and I feel like that's when it changed over. But Adidas got some decent shoes, but them Anthony Edwards is fire. But the Nike Jordan, bro, like that's where it's at. That's where people spending their money. That influences kids. You know what I mean? Like young men, I just think about it. All right, NIL influences them too, of course. But you're going to get some gear. the fans didn't understand it. Like, you know what I mean? Like certain fans, like you're just like all black and white, like all about the money. It's not about the money. It's about that access it gives to those people. So you're gonna get more kids that want to come play with you if you're gonna give them some free Jordans. Then you're gonna give them some free Currys. Then you're gonna give them some free Donovan Mitchells. Like it holds more weight. Like it just holds more weight, man. I'm just telling you. And then you can still give them some LeBrons and stuff on the side, probably. You know. Some LeBrons if you want, maybe some Kobe's. Who knows? You might have some access to it.
Kids love them Kobe shoes, boy.
Yeah, them Kobe's are fire though. I like Kobe's. Gotta rock with Kobe's.
And you know the other thing too, if you think about where Wes is taking this program, you think about when I played, who would be at a game, right? So we're playing a big conference game. Magic Johnson showed up one game. Yeah, crazy.
That is crazy.
Like Tracy McGrady showed up one game. I guess I forget who he was cool with. He shows up. I mean, this was happening. We go and play, and it might still be on YouTube. We went and played at South Florida. Yeah, was it South Florida? I think it was South Florida. And Mariah Carey and Derek Jeter were there, front row at our game. But we had that swag that celebrities knew they need to show up and watch the Bearcats.
Damn, Mariah Carey was there? Damn.
Mariah Carey was at our game. Because I remember the teammates, we were in like warm up, like, is that Mariah Carey? Like, that's well, she dated Derek Jeter.
Yeah, for a quick second, yeah.
And he lived in Tampa.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. So getting that swag back, and Wes has been, he's been working hard to try to get, celebrities or names to show up to Fifth Third Arena, to come to practices, to come to games, sit courtside. I mean, kids notice that, man. That just adds to the aura of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Just think about it, just think about Colorado, man. What Deion's doing,
man.
You got people, it's people there. It's the game and it's the sideline too. Like people are seeing, like, who are you gonna see on the sideline? You know what I mean? Like it means stuff. Like your purist, it probably doesn't, but like that shit means you want a kid to come play with you and you got some extra stuff you can bring to it in a good team.
Yep.
It's gonna hold some weight, man. I'm just telling you.
Yep. Hey, and listen, but at the end of the day, you got all this stuff going on. End of the day, gotta beat Xavier.
Gotta beat him.
Yep.
Gotta beat him.
Yep. Gotta beat him.
Time to Scorpion Death drop these fools. I'm tired of Xavier. Tired, man. I can't even talk stuff about it. Like it's like taking away the media stuff aside. Like it irks. Like right now, like Xavier, I've always disliked Xavier, and then like every time I see a Xavier sticker, and then we can't even really talk stuff. Like this, I don't like it at all. I don't like this feeling. Like, and I'm real passionate about my teams. When it comes to certain stuff, I can separate it, but right now, the lines are getting blurred. Like Xavier fans, I'll probably be done slap one of them fans or something. They say something crazy to me right now.
JT, don't slap anybody. We need you on the podcast, bro. We can't have you locked up.
Yeah, man. I can't afford to go to, to have to bail myself out either because they probably pressing charges. You know what I'm saying? So I need to keep my little cheese. It's Christmas time.
Yeah, don't hurt anybody.
But I'm just like angry.
And Neil, and when we get talking about swag and all that, we don't mean to exclude you in the conversation.
Yeah, my bad.
You're good.
Bad.
Hey, I'm learning something talking swag with y'all boys.
My bad, Neil.
I'm picking up the wealth. Hey, you won't be catching me wearing any Adidas basketball shoes. I'll tell you that.
You used to, right?
No, I wear the Adidas like running shoes.
Well, he always wearing Adidas. He did get some Nike Dunks though.
I do got the Pandas.
Oh, you got the okay.
I got the basic Pandas.
But you know the Pandas. Did they mass produce those things? I feel like that's like.
Matt and Neil, listen. No offense. The Pandas are like at like Costco. Like, are they?
Yeah, they're the cheaper ones.
Are they like I see Pandas on
everywhere?
Yeah, I swear the Pandas got produced like they was built at Payless.
No question, man. I'm like,
no. Because at first I was like, remember they had like a drop where it was kind of exclusive for a little bit. And then I'm just like, damn, everybody got the damn Pandas. Like,
everybody.
Like, imagine going out to, not imagine because it's happened with my friend group. Me and the boys go out. You look at 2 or 3 of us, if we all wearing Pandas, everybody in the group, I swear, has a pair of Pandas.
Yeah. It's
that's a Caucasian staple, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, man. The panda shoe is a Caucasian staple. Like, you might not really have shoes, like that might not be a thing. They gonna have some pandas, bro. They are going to have some pandas.
Hey, I'm gonna say this. You're right. And Neil, if you want to balance that out, you have to do this. Go get some black Air Force Ones. Rock them.
Hey, if you get some black Air Force Ones, hey, that would be the trilogy. Hey, that would be raw. Hey, if you buy some Air Force Ones, if you see win, you gotta get some black Air Force Ones.
The low top joints too.
Hey man, we might have to chip in.
Imagine me pulling up to the shootout on Saturday with black Air Force Ones.
You got some black Force Ones, you see winning by 30.
Do you remember when and I know we're a Bengals town, but you know where I'm going with this. Tomlin, did you see when Tomlin bought like the whole team,
black Air Force Ones before the Bengals game?
Man, I'm like, oh boy, they're not losing this game.
Yeah, Black Forces, man. Black Forces are
that's crazy.
That is a cultural thing right there, man.
It is. It really is. Black Forces.
You know what?
Remember Zane I bought Zane some Black Forces last year. He wanted some. He literally asked for them.
Did you have to sit him down and say, son, I need to talk to you?
Yeah, I was like, what's up? He's like, that's just how I'm coming this year.
Hey, I would have bought him for him too. If my son would have said that, I'm like, you got it.
He said, that's how I'm coming. I was like, all right. I think I bought him like early basketball season last year, like during school hoops. He was like, yes, it's just how I'm coming.
Business this year.
I'm like, man, I just really need him, man. I just need him for. I'm like, all right, man, I got you.
That's funny.
You know what I need to do on the graphic that we post for the podcast when we post this? I need to put black Air Force Ones and the Pandas like in the picture.
You got to. Please do.
Hey, AI's a real thing.
I'm writing this down here.
Don't forget, man. That's it. You got to put the jersey.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
And then you got to put the what you call it. They're gonna be like, why is
where's these black Air Force Ones?
Where does black Air Force Ones come from?
Gotta listen to the pod. Gotta
listen, man.
Oh man, we talked about things I didn't even think we were going to talk about.
Nah, for sure.
That's what happens when you get the organic podcast, man. You just run with it.
Just let it roll, man.
Oh, so will both of you be at the shootout?
Yes. I'll be there.
Yep.
Guys be there.
Okay. I'm missing my son's game for this.
Juju or
Zane. They played Mason at 1, so I was like,
okay, yeah, he's gonna.
I'll be there on Sunday.
Okay,
he got games Sunday.
We have a lot of games.
Yeah, they got enough games. I'll be there. I help him out, but yeah, it's one. You gotta hold it down from a distance for me.
Now listen, we're gonna leave on this. The Bearcats have to win this basketball game, fellas. We all agree on that. They've got to win this basketball game. This is a special team, and I don't think we can expect anything less. I'm no excuses.
Yeah, we don't want no asterisks. We don't want no asterisks on the season, man.
No.
You see how Ohio State fans feel right now. Lose to Michigan, and you still make the playoffs. If you win, it's still going.
You still lost the.
Still feel a little funny about your season. You know what I'm saying?
That flag and
yeah.
Hurts.
Hurt, yeah, right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The Twyman segment was sponsored by Visionary Cleaners. Visionary Cleaners is a locally owned company by former Bearcat student athletes. They specialize in high-quality commercial cleaning of businesses, apartments, pre- and post-construction cleans. They can be reached at 513-388-7816 or contact online at visionarycleaners.com. Now, fellas, this concludes another great podcast. Thanks to all of our sponsors, Donahue Accounting Services, Smart Dog Solutions, Greg Hood and Beachmont Toyota, and Visionary Cleaners. And you're listening to the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast presented by Donahue Accounting Services. For friendly expert tax advice whenever you need it, come to Donahue Accounting Services. A leading accounting firm in Cincinnati, Ohio. Our top-notch accountants strive to help you resolve all your financial and tax issues. Call Donahue Accounting Services today for a free consultation at 513-528-3982 or visit online at donahueaccountingservice.com. Thanks, everyone, for listening to another episode of the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast. Go Bearcats.